Hi, I'm Todd Plaxton of the Saskatoon Rample Brothers Baseball. Okay, I'm ready. Hi, I'm Todd Plaxton of the Saskatoon Rample Brothers Club Baseball. I can't say it.
What Todd is trying to tell you is the dairy producers and the Saskatoon Rample Brother Cubs are proud to present the 96 Baseball Canada Senior National Championships August 22nd to the 25th at JF Cairns Field, and all proceeds go to minor baseball.
Come watch the greatest show on dirt.
Rample Brothers baseball tournament kicked off tonight at Cairns Field. Tonight's feature game had the host Cubs playing the Saskatoon Clams. Let's go right now and take some of that action from Cairns Field. Pick it up at the top of the sixth. The Cubs leading at 8-3. The Clams cut the lead here. Warren Roll singles, cashing in Kevin Lecision. It's now 8-4. Next man up, James Reesner. He singles to center. That will bring home Keith Timmerman, and it's now 8-5. But the Cubs respond in the bottom of the sixth. First, David Zanuto delivers the RBI single. Sheldon Sawatsky scores. It's 9-5. Next man is Tim Croker, and he goes up the middle. Zanuto will check in on that hit, and the Cubs now have a 5-run lead. It's still the same inning, and it's now 11-5. The hit parade continues. Neil Corey steps up and delivers a single. Ron Cutt easily scores. It's now 12-5, 13-5, and Todd Plaxton getting into the act. His RBI will bring in Lance Corey. 14-5 at that point. The Cubs go on to knock off the Clams. 15-5, the final score. A good start to the tournament. The Cubs will play tomorrow at 6 o'clock. The opponent, though, still to be determined.
The highlights. Cubs will get to work in the early goings. The first inning, Neil Corey goes the other way. That'll score the all-star Tim Croker, and it's 1-0. Second inning now. Sheldon Sawatsky goes up the middle. That'll cash in LA Dodgers draft pick Ryan Anholt, and it's 2-0 for the Cubs. 2-1 in the fourth now. Calgary will take the lead on this 2-run single, and just like that, the Longhorns have the lead by a score of 3-2. Bottom of the inning, though, the Cubs are going to tie it up. Anholt again, he pounds this one deep to left. Just about out of here, off the wall she goes. A run comes in, and it's 3-3. So we fast forward to extra innings. A man on for Steve Riley. He singles in the running run, bringing home Tim Croker. The Cubs win their own tournament 7-6.
Plaxton of the Saskatoon Rample Brothers Baseball. Okay, I'm ready. Hi, I'm Todd Plaxton of the Saskatoon Rample Brothers Club Baseball. I can't say it. Hi, I'm Todd Plaxton of the Saskatoon Rample Brothers Club. Are you sure those first ones weren't right? The challenge is out to the defending champions, the Chatham Ironmen of New Brunswick, and we need your support to make this tournament fly. Okay, now what am I saying here? Come watch the greatest show on dirt.
Best amateur baseball players in Canada will be here for 4 days.
The Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship begins Thursday morning at both Cairns and Leakas Fields. Co-chairman Ron Fisher and Todd Plaxton have spent the last 2 years putting the plans in place for the event, and Plaxton is relieved that it's all about to start.
Endless hours of trying to organize and get the sponsorship and the whole works together. I think as a baseball, it's kind of sad for me because it's probably going to be my last national championships as a player and a coach. But we're anxious to get it here and get it going.
10 teams from across the country will vie for the title, including the host Saskatoon Rample Brother Cubs. And the Cubs feel good about playing for the Canadian title at home.
Just love playing at home, and we don't have to travel. There's no distractions. We know what we can expect, and we know everything that's going to happen. So I guess it's a matter of just going out and playing and doing the little things right and coming up big in the big situation.
The tournament will truly give the fans of Saskatoon and area a chance to watch the country's top players in action.
There's 3 or 4 players on most of the rosters that were either a national senior team player at one time or a national youth team player at another time or a former pro. There's a number of those out there that have got their amateur status back.
The tournament begins Thursday morning at 10. The host Cubs will play the defending champions from Chatham, New Brunswick on that evening at 7:30. Men's baseball championships start Thursday. Field, but a little preamble tonight. Saskatoon colors will be worn by the Rample Brother Cubs, and this evening they played a provincial Senior A playoff final against the Saskatoon Nationals, as if they didn't have anything else on their plate this week. Early on, Tim Croker, the national team member, with the Cubs down 3-1, drills one off the Delron sign. That scores a pair. Tied at 3. Same inning. Steve Riley rips the ball to left field. That'll bring home Tim Croker, and the Cubs lead 4-3. Another pitch on its way, and Neil Corey drives the ball, and I mean drives it all the way to the wall and right. That scores Riley, and it's 5-3 for the Cubs. This is one of the only blemishes. Kelly Haraska with a wild pitch. That scores Derek St. Louis. 7-4 at that time, and the Rempel brother Cubs go on to a 14-4 victory. They will start the Canadian Championship following the opening ceremonies with a game against the defending champions from Chatham, New Brunswick. Thursday, 7:30 at Cairns Field. We will have a story on the Rempel brother Cubs on our program. National team member Tim Croker and the rest of the Rempel brother Cubs are hoping to be a big hit at this week's Nationals. It's the Cubs' third straight appearance in the Canadian Championship. 1 year ago, the club turned in a sixth-place finish in Chatham, New Brunswick, a standing they have every intention of improving upon.
Well, we're confident as any team going in. Obviously, we haven't seen as much quality pitching as perhaps the other teams have, but that's one obstacle we'll have to overcome, and I think we got the team that can do that.
The Cubs' goal going in is to play for a medal on Sunday. In order to accomplish that feat, the provincial Senior A champions are focusing on one particular phase of their game.
Well, definitely good pitching will do it. We've got a good staff this year, and defense has always won games at Canadians. The games we've been in haven't been slugfest. They've been 3-2, 2-1 type of games. So I think the pitching's going to do it, and good defense. I mean, we'll get our hits, and we're going to score runs, but it's going to take solid D.
The Cubs won't have to wait long for their first test. They will take on the defending champions from Chatham in their tournament opener, a team this crew has plenty of respect for.
What we found is they all have great arms, and their positioning, I mean, their shortstop was the best guy I've ever seen play amateur baseball, bar none. They had an old catcher. He's not here this year, but when your guys throwing 90 miles an hour, it's tough to catch up.
Tournament play begins tomorrow morning at 10 with a gold medal final slated for Sunday at 7. It has been proclaimed for several weeks as the greatest show on dirt, and today that show began. The Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship got underway this morning at Cairns and Leakas Fields. This evening marked the feature game of the day as the host Rempel brother Cubs tangled with the defending champion Chatham, New Brunswick Ironmen, and my goodness, it was an excellent ball game. Ryan Anholt, just recently picked in the draft by the Dodgers, rips one to the wall in the third inning. That scores Sean Brandon. 1-0 for the Cubs. Same inning, Chris Dorian unleashes the wild pitch. Mark Tazinas has trouble with it, and Anholt scampers home. Great base running, 2-0. Kevin Fry, outstanding on the mound most of the night. Mike Dupre strikes out. That takes us to the 7th inning, still 2-0. Mark Tastinas with the sac fly. That scores Mike Dunnett, the outstanding shortstop of Chatham. And it is 2-1. Now here's an interesting play. David Zanuto, the shortstop, not in time. Then Kelly Haraska as the runner caught up, and he threw it away. And that ties the contest at 2 in the top of the 7th. But in the bottom of the 7th, the man at second and first, David Zanuto, finds the gap. Here comes Kelly Haraska to the plate. The throw is not in time. Safe. Cubs win. Cubs win. And they did. 3-2. What a start to the Canadian Senior Championship for the Rempel brother Cubs in front of an outstanding crowd tonight. An excellent defensive played ball game as the teams only combined in the 7 innings for 13 hits. And for more on the contest, Corey Ginther is at Cairns Field standing by with his post-game report.
All right, thanks a lot, Peter. Well, the Saskatoon Rempel brother Cubs open up their portion of the Canadian Senior Baseball Championships in fine form. But no doubt it was a victory that was a lot closer than it should have been. Cubs rallied from a 7th inning scare and came through big time on their half of the 7th as David Zanuto picked up one of the biggest RBIs of his career.
This is huge. Anytime you do anything to help the team of Canadians, it's fantastic. And I was having a tough time at bat beginning of the game, but that felt great.
Yeah, that's a big one. It gives our confidence a big boost. They really did beat us bad in Chatham, and we felt that we weren't as bad as we played, and we owed them that to play, a competitive game, and to win that is a bonus.
The 7th inning scare unfortunately put the fine pitching performance by Kevin Fry on the sidelines, but Fry was one of the main reasons the Cubs had the chance to win the ball game. He took a 4-hit shutout into the 7th.
Well, it was pretty tough to watch. I thought I had the game in hand pretty much, but got a few base hits in the 7th there, and then just had a few problems at the end and then walked a guy, so it was time.
Meantime, the Chatham Ironmen were obviously disappointed with the outcome. The defending champions now sit at 1-1.
I thought our guys played well. We were a little bit passive in the first 4 or 5 innings, but we had a great 7th, a good rally, and of course they come back with a good rally too. It was a good ball game.
The Rempel Brother Cubs will return to action tomorrow night, 7:30 here at Cairns Field when they take on the Manitoba All-Stars. Cubs will be looking to up their mark to 2-0. Reporting from Cairns Field, I'm Corey Ginther for Sportsline.
Thank you, Mr. Ginther. Chatham won their first game of the day as they beat Nova Scotia by a score of 5-1 to even their record at 1-1. Vernon, BC, downing Manitoba, team from Winnipeg, 5-2 for the Clearly Canadians. That's their team name from Vernon. They won that game in 2 extra innings. And the Pool A standings. As a result, Saskatoon and Vernon tied for the lead. Chatham next at 1-1. Nova Scotia and Winnipeg at 0-1. A couple of excellent games tomorrow will include the game that Corey talked about tomorrow night involving the Cubs. And Vernon and Chatham will play tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock at Cairns Field.
The other Saskatchewan team in the Senior Baseball Nationals is Weyburn. The Senior Beavers opened the 96 championship earlier this afternoon against the North York Shooters from Ontario at Cairns Field. For North York, the Shooters already had 1 win under their belts and were looking for number 2 on day number 1 of the National Championships. They were off to a very good start, top of the 4th, 3-1 North York. A great play by Todd Smith and a great play to get the out and end the inning. Trouble. Still won, though, 3-1. Bottom of the 4th, Weyburn starts to chip away. Jim Naden, a solo home run to left field, and that man had a great game for Weyburn. It's now 3-2. Bottom of the 5th, Weyburn ties it up and takes the lead, courtesy of, again, Jim Naden. Doubles in the gap, scores 2, 4-3 now. Top of the 6th, we're tied at 4. Number 39, Jeff Michaels' blooper gives the pitcher, Jamie Heisler, all sorts of trouble. Can't make the play. A run scores. It's 5-4 North York. Now 6-4. Some great D, though, by Weyburn. Terry Marsick, the left fielder, with a nice grab on the warning track amid a puff of dirt, but they could not rob the Shooters tonight. North York wins 7-4 over Weyburn, and North York is now 2-0 for Weyburn. That was their first game. They are 0-1. More on the scores from earlier today in just a bit, but first, these post-game comments.
We should have had, in my point of view, we should have had a few more runs than we had. But, you know, that's the way the game goes. They could have had a few more runs, too, so it just turned out, you know, it turned out for the best.
Well, we were hitting the ball quite hard, and we just couldn't get the key hits at the right times like North York came through with. And it was a tough loss, but I'm sure we'll bounce back.
And so as we look to the senior men's baseball pool number B, as we look at some of the finals earlier today, North York, as I mentioned, is now 2-0 after defeating Red Deer earlier this morning by a score of 5-3. Manitoba defeated Newfoundland 4-2. That's Red Boyne from Manitoba. Newfoundland and Red Deer won that one easily by a score of 11-1. Let's take a look at the Pool B standings now after day number 1. North York now 2-0. Red Boyne 1-0. Red Deer Riggers 1-1, and as you see, still Weyburn looking for win number 1, and they will try and do that tomorrow when Weyburn takes on Manitoba, 4 o'clock at Cairns Field.
Action will begin again tomorrow morning, 10. By the way, just one quick note. Kenny Rogers, that shortstop you saw from North York, had 7 hits in the 2 games today. Saskatoon Rempel Brother Cubs had an opportunity to put themselves in pretty good shape tonight at the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship. The Cubs tried to run the record to 2-0 against the winless Manitoba Senior Baseball League All-Stars. A victory would put the host club in great shape to make their way to the medal round. We'll tell you more about that, but first we'll show you the highlights. 1-0 Cubs. Second inning, Sean Brennan's ground ball scores Kelly Haraska, who had a big night, 2-0. Top of the 3rd, catcher Neil Corey drives this ball off Shane Moffat to the alley, and it will go off the sign in right center. Tim Croker scores, so does Stephen Riley, and it's 4-0 Cubs. Next batter is Kelly Haraski. He had 3+ hits tonight, driving in a run here. Neil Corey, and it's 5-0. Top of the 4th, the national teamer, Tim Croker. What a fine guy and what an excellent ball player. That RBI makes it 6-0. Same inning, watch this play. Steve Riley driving the ball to right field. Ryan Scott goes after it. He's got it. Yeah, he does. Oh, what a play by the Manitoba right fielder. Talking about Manitoba, they finally get on the scoreboard in the bottom of the 4th. Nice try by Sean Brennan. He can't squeeze it. That scores a run, and it's 6-1. Top of the 5th. I don't know, we had a play like this in softball last week. Here's another one. Brody Mark looks like he's hung up, but they throw it away. Scores not only 1, but here comes Kelly Haraska. 2, 8-1 at that point. 9-6, so the Cubs go to 2-0. For more on that contest, let's go out to Cairns Field, where you know who is standing by, Mr. Corey Gamble.
All right, thanks a lot, Peter. Well, the Saskatoon Rumpel Brother Cubs continue to roll here at the Canadian Senior Baseball Championships as the Cubs pick up their second win of the tournament. Now, last night there were some concerns about the Cubs' lack of offensive production. That was definitely not the case this evening. It was their defense that was causing some heartaches.
That's right. We just let them back in, and we couldn't shut the door. And again, I can't blame the pitching. I think they did a great job. Our defense just didn't stand up.
It felt like, you know, that we won by a lot, but, you know, really, if you look at the last inning, it was a close game, and it was pretty tense. We had loaded bases. We were up by 3. You know, and I know the guy that was up last, he's very capable of hitting a home run, so I was pretty tense.
We fought back, but we really, we kind of blew the game ourselves. There was 2 runs scored unearned on a rundown, and we just didn't play really solid all around. We weren't consistent enough to win a ball game, and they're a good hitting club. I mean, they did a great job.
The Rumpel Brother Cubs will finish off the round-robin portion of the tournament tomorrow. The pair of games at 1 o'clock, they'll take on Nova Scotia, and then they'll wrap things up at 7:30 as they take on Vernon, British Columbia. Both games right here at Cairns Field. Corey Gunther for Sportsline.
Elsewhere in that pool today, Nova Scotia, Dartmouth beating the Manitoba All-Stars 10-0. Here's a big game. Vernon, the clearly Canadians, 6-2 over the defending champions, handing them their second straight loss. Chatham Ironman. Nova Scotia in a bit of an upset over Vernon, 5-1. So here's your Pool A standings, and we'll set the story straight. Saskatoon leading the way at 2-0, Vernon and Nova Scotia. Now the top 2 teams in each pool advance to the semifinals and the medal round, and Saskatoon will play Dartmouth, Nova Scotia at 1, and then close out the round robin at 7:30 against Vernon. So what a final day of the round robin it will be in Pool A. As far as Pool B is concerned, Weyburn, tough luck losers, 4-3, their second consecutive loss of the championship. Newfoundland and North York, 11-1. Kenny Rogers, the outstanding shortstop, with 3 more hits for North York. He is 10 for 13 in the tournament. Red Deer over Red Boyne 7-5. So as far as the Pool B standings are concerned, North York on their way to the medal round, barring a disaster. Red Deer and Red Boyne fighting it out. And there you have the rest of the standings. It wraps up the round robin tomorrow. The playoffs go.
Welcome back to Sportsline, everybody. The Saskatoon Rumpel Brother Cubs enter the final day of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championships, needing only 2 wins to be crowned Canadian champions. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a day of disaster as the Cubs' dream ended in the semifinal, losing 7-5 to the Weyburn Beavers. So Weyburn advanced to the championship final against Nova Scotia. Dartmouth pulling off the other big upset of the day, beating the previously undefeated North York Shooters from Ontario 5-4. So let's look back to the Cubs' nightmare. Pick it up 6-4, Weyburn. Cubs get 1 back in the 6th, though. Steve Riley singles to left. Neil Corey charges home plate. He's in safely, and it's 6-5. Cubs look for more. Ron Rudd at the dish. Now he's going to hit the sharp ground ball, but the Beavers get out of it. Oh, my, with some fine defense. They turn the double play to end the inning. Proved to be a big play because Weyburn puts it away in the 7th. Terry Stewart with a shot to left. Riley kind of misjudges it there. A run scores, and the Weyburn Beavers upset the Saskatoon Rumpel Brother Cubs and advanced to the gold medal game. 7-5 is the final, that one. The Cubs' best hope was a bronze after that. We'll get to that game in just a second. But now let's go to the gold medal game. As mentioned, Nova Scotia took on those Weyburn Beavers. Top of the 3rd action now. Beavers threaten. Guy singles to left. Jamie Kincaid heads for home, but Joel Irvin guns him out. What a perfect throw. Top of the 5th now. Weyburn's Todd Bevis lays down the bunt, but Dartmouth turns the great double play. Some great defense in this tournament all week long. Bottom of the 6th now. Nova Scotia's Todd Parker hits the ground ball. Look at Todd Smith. You saw him earlier. He does it again. Another defensive gem, 0-0 after 6. Smith also gets the bat going in the top of the 7th. Still 0-0. He doubles to right to start off the inning, and the Weyburn threat. And Todd Bevis makes the most of the opportunity with Smith on second. Here comes the RBI single to center. Smith scores, and it's 1-0. Bottom of the 7th now. 2 gone. 2 strikes, and there's the championship. 1-0 is the final for Weyburn. It was a party-like atmosphere after that. Who can blame them? Because they are the 1996 Canadian Senior Men's Baseball champions.
Yeah, I can't say enough about these guys. They just refuse not to win. That's basically all it boiled down to. I don't know. It's hard to put it in words what I'm feeling right now, and they deserve it.
Actually starting out 0-2 for ourselves. We had to get a little bit of confidence in our first win, and we just built from there and can't complain with what happened.
So the bronze medal game featured the Cubs and North York, two teams that were probably expected to be in the final. Here's how that game unfolded. We'll pick it up. Unfortunately, the Cubs are already way out of this ballgame. 5-0 in the second, and here comes some more. Single scores Kenny Rogers. No, not that guy. Another run, and it's 7-0. Now, the onslaught continues in the third. Once again, it's Kenny Rogers singing a lovely tune. He doubles into the corner to make it 8-0 for North York. Then Matt Sperling delivers this bloop single to right, scoring Kenny Rogers. It's the only guy that's playing in this ball game. 9-0 at that point, and North York captures the bronze medal as they dump the Cubs by an 11-0 count. Kind of a tough day for the Cubs. As you know, they were only 2 wins away from a Canadian championship, and they finished things off kind of an embarrassing fashion, but really it was a meaningless game. 11-0 is the final. The Cubs were disappointed with the bronze medal performance, but they just couldn't put aside what could have been.
I thought we had everything going on. You know, we're on a roll. Everything was working out. The pitchers we were putting in, the players, timely hits. Everything was going our way, and something, just the wheels fell off, I guess.
It was really kind of tough because Weyburn had our number last year in the Westerns, and we were really wanting to come back and, you know, prove them wrong. But, you know, it's tough to take, but now you can't worry about the things you can't control. So we could control it at a time, but now, you know, you just got to look back and tip your hat, and that's the way it goes.
I'm proud of myself. I hit the ball well, and I wish I could have did a little more, but, you know, I wish the turnout for our team would have been a little better, though. Would have made me a little happier. We're going home with something. That's all that counts.
I feel pretty bad as a player and a coach. I feel good about the organization and everything, how the tournament went, but as a team, I am disappointed. We did have a good round robin and sort of fell short in the crossovers.